Bismillah, walhamdulillah, wa salawatu ala rasulillahi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Alhamdulillah, ala ni'mat al-Islam wa kafa bihi min ni'mah. We thank and praise Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for the gift of Islam. And we praise and thank Allah for all of our gifts. And from these gifts is our children. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has brought us children subhanallah as a gift and as a trust. Our Prophet ﷺ used to make dua. Sayyidina Zakaria ﷺ, when he saw the miracle that Sayyidina Maryam, that the mother of Jesus ﷺ, was getting, he immediately made dua that he would be given a righteous offspring. A righteous offspring to carry his name and carry the legacy of Nabuwat, of the prophecy onwards. So children are our legacy and our trust. So how do we incorporate and how do we show thanks to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala this trust? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made our children incredibly responsive. Even when they're very, very young, they respond to our moods. And they are recording everything that happens within a home. You may think that the child is unaware. You may think the child is not paying attention, but the child is responding and the child is recording and the child is being nurtured by the emotions, whether positive or negative, within that home. And that is why we must create within our homes a positive environment, an Islamic environment, an environment where we incorporate the love of Allah and love of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and good habits. Good habits. The Sahaba used to say, when you incorporate good habits, you incorporate a good Muslim. You create good deeds within them and they become habits. They become part of the flesh of their personality. Sayyidina Ali radiallahu anhu has a very famous saying. He said, لَعِبْهُمْ سَبْعَ, play with your children 7 years. And then, عَلِمْهُمْ سَبْعَ, and then you teach them for 7 years. وَصَاحِبْهُمْ سَبْعَ, and then befriend them for 7 years. This is a formula of parenting that if we incorporate in our lives, we will incorporate children that are not just our children, but they will be our legacy. Someone that will become independent and both dependent and independent. Subhanallah. And this is what we want our children to be. We want them to be dependent, but we also want them to be independent and interdependent, that they understand the relationship and the importance of fruitful, positive relationships in the community and within the ummah. We spend the first 7 years of a child's life in making sure they're enjoying themselves, making sure they become accustomed to tough environments, taking them outside, camping and sports and swimming and riding horses and archery and or shooting, wherever you may be, whether that applies or not, subhanallah. So they become independent. And then you teach them knowledge, and you teach them good manners, and you inculcate them good manners and good character and good sifat, and that will bring in them the qualities that the ummah requires. For 7 years, this is the teaching when they're 7 years old, that teaching until they're 14 years old. After 14 years old, now you befriend them. Now you're there for giving advice, good advice. And then if you've done the first 7 properly and the second 7 properly, then they will come to you for advice. They won't go to the internet for advice. They won't go to non-Muslim information to get advice. They will come to you, or they will seek reliable Islamic knowledge and research that will help them through their lives. And this is how we want our children to be. First, we want them to be independent. We want them to be dependent. We want them to be independent. And then we want them to be interdependent, that they understand the importance of fruitful relationships. May Allah give us tawfiq to, inshallah, to appreciate our children and to give our children from our experiences and our love and our trust and our good habits, so they will take this ummah forward and face the challenges ahead. وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.